along the coast. That's tomorrow right here on
Local forecast. Accurate, up-to-date weather information for your neighborhood. Only on the Weather Channel.
Good morning. It's a Friday. Thanks for tuning into the channel. And sure enough, we want...
Good morning. It is 5:30 on this Friday, February 16th. Here are some of the stories we're following for you on Action News. 2 people are injured as fire sweeps through a Delaware County home overnight.
A Philadelphia man is set to walk out of a Florida prison after allegedly killing his girlfriend here and dumping her body down south. And President Clinton travels from New Jersey to Pennsylvania for a tour of areas damaged by last month's flooding.
But the big story on Action News this morning is the approach of a winter storm. It could dump several inches of snow on the Delaware Valley today. Let's go right to Dave Frankel and the latest from AccuWeather on the storm, David.
All right, we've made some changes in the forecast overnight, so we have some updates for you. First of all, the National Weather Service has now posted a winter weather advisory for southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and the immediate surrounding Pennsylvania counties. However, it's a winter storm warning for New Jersey and Delaware. In other words, more snow is going to fall in New Jersey and Delaware than from the city on north and west. Here's the call from AccuWeather. We're looking for accumulations of around 3 to 6 inches in the city and around 6 to 12 inches east of the city. So inland New Jersey and all the way out to the shore and then down into parts of Delaware, somewhere around 6 to 12 inches. This is a coastal storm, and the track, again, is going to be critical, as we've been talking about for the past few days. If this thing moves a little further inland, that 6 inches may be closer to the truth in Philadelphia, and then you may get 3 inches out in the west, and that foot may creep in a little bit further. So it's all right down to the edge on this thing. As far as the start time, AccuWeather says it should start sometime over the next couple of hours. It'll overspread the area coming up from the south. It should all be over by about 9 o'clock tonight, but in between time, we will pick up several inches of snow, more the further east you go this time. So another tricky storm. We'll check it out on Action Radar, show you exactly what it looks like. Here's the picture on the Schuylkill Expressway at the moment. We're live on the Action Cam, and you can see morning rush hour getting off to a fine start. Certainly the early part we're in good shape. Late morning rush hour, things could get a little tricky, could have dusting to a coating, maybe even an inch on the ground in some spots by the end of rush hour. So we'll watch it all carefully. We'll show it to you on Action Radar and bring you the 5-day in just a few minutes. Rick.
All right, David. In other news this morning, a man who authorities all agree murdered...
Potential again does exist for a tremendous amount of snow. This is probably the last thing on Earth that you need across the Northeast, as already this winter season is turning out to be one of the snowiest that we've had in a long, long time. Up around Boston, you folks have had over 6 feet of snow. We've had over 6.5 feet for Hartford, Connecticut. And here we go again, especially from down east Maine, through coastal sections of New Hampshire, through eastern Massachusetts, even over towards New York City. especially Long Island, and then down towards Cape May, New Jersey, and Dover, Delaware, we could easily be looking at 6 to 12 inches of snow, maybe even some heavier snows than that. Now, it's still rather questionable, though, because a lot of it has to do with the exact timing of this upper-level low merging with the surface low, also the exact track of the low-pressure system. So there's still a lot of variables coming into play, but at least as it stands right now, the current forecast track is suggesting that there could be some tremendous snows throughout portions of the mid-Atlantic and likewise across the Northeast. Here we go then for today. Snow showers actually digging as far south as the Deep South. We've had some snows this morning for Jackson, Mississippi. There's been some snow, too, for Huntsville. And now there's a heavy snow warning out for the mountains of North Carolina. There, too, we could be looking at close to a foot of snowfall for some of the higher peaks. Well, the snow starts to taper off somewhat by overnight tonight, but still more snow and moisture comes swinging in across the Northeast, and a chance for more locally heavy snows across New England, at least as we kick off the weekend. Then as our next storm system, though, starts to migrate into the Pacific Northwest, we'll start to see some snow showers here. Snow levels will be consistently lowering by Saturday night on into Sunday, so more snows, too, for the Cascades and across the Sierra Nevada. This morning, though, if you're heading off to work or school, you'll have to allow yourself some extra driving time to get to your destination. It's snowing right now around Pittsburgh. More snow around Philly, around Baltimore, Washington, D.C., making the Capital Beltway rather tricky this morning. Then we pick up some snow, too, for Richmond and Roanoke. But then right along the coastal sections, right around the Tidewater of Virginia, we start to see the snow mixing with some rain and some sleet. So some messy conditions, too, around Newport News and around Norfolk, Virginia. A little bit farther towards the south, again, we've had some scattered snow flurries and snow showers. Still some light snow from Jackson. There's been some snow, too, around Huntsville, Alabama. And out towards the west, we're picking up some rain, mainly some rain for Redding and Red Bluff, rain across the foothills. Higher up in the mountains, though, up around 6,000 feet, we watch the rain turning over to snow. For temperatures, it has been turning much colder over most of the country, especially in the east. Some dramatic changes, as temperatures this morning are averaging about 25 degrees colder than what it was yesterday morning. And when you factor in the winds, some dangerously cold wind chills hitting the Midwest, and again, we're watching those wind chills really dropping, too, across the south. This morning, it feels like 18 for Atlanta and only 16 for Nashville. We'll let you know if the weather warms up any for this upcoming weekend. Let's check out the forecast now with Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Cheryl. Again, part two of this morning's weather segment is the forecast, and you can see our coastal low as we work our way through midday, which is now down toward Charleston, South Carolina, moving on up off to Delmarva, and as it continues to move on northward, again, it will become perhaps a little bit stronger. So we'll see the snow enhanced by midday around Philadelphia, Atlantic City. It'll begin in New York and start to spread up through southern New England. And by rush hour this evening, which is really the important thing with this storm, we are going to have some very, very heavy snow coming down for a short period of time, maybe in a period of 2 to 3 hours, where you could pick up anywhere from 1 to 3 inches an hour in the East Coast cities. Now, this is a shutdown of rush hour, and you know that. And that's why this evening, again, you've got to be very cautious from Boston to Providence to Hartford down into New York City as we get into this, especially down toward New York. This may be just a touch fast, but nonetheless, just keep that in mind. Behind that, the next clipper starts to come into the Great Lakes, and with that, of course, a little area of light snow developing this afternoon for the Arrowhead of Minnesota, and plenty of wet weather coming into California, Oregon, and Washington over the next several days. So you got to keep an eye on that area as well. That'll be the story after this storm heads on out. So for the mid-Atlantic today, look for some snow. Again, the mountains could see anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow. Maybe, again, the coast getting the heaviest out of this, it looks like. And by 7 o'clock tonight, we could be talking about a little bit more than 6 inches even. And I mean, that's pretty incredible to go from nothing to 6 inches of snow by this evening. You know it's got to fall at a pretty rapid rate for some time period to accomplish that. Teens, 20s, and 30s for highs, no big deal here. Cold air will come in behind this trough, but don't be surprised to see some problems this morning around Nashville with that light snow coming down. Looks like it'll be post-rush hour for northern Georgia, and any accumulation will mainly be north of Atlanta. But still, I'd be surprised if we didn't see a little dusting here. Northern Georgia, Rome, on over through Cherokee County, on up into the North Carolina mountains. Maybe a couple of inches in northeastern Georgia, and some showers and thunderstorms pushing across Lake Okeechobee this morning. So our rain, mainly on the light side. Our snow, again, will accumulate. Heaviest will be in the mountains, but Nashville, again, watch out this morning for those problems. Cold air, wind picks up behind the snow event. So that's what we're going to see. It's right now in Paducah and Nashville. Behind that, down toward Atlanta and eventually over towards Charlotte. Upper Midwest, looking at sunny conditions here, clouds on the increase, a little light snow breaking out, but tough to find any accumulations by 7 p.m.
Now, the Weather Channel can give you weather now on the Internet as a service of Pathfinder. Forecasts at your fingertips, just a click away on the World Wide Web when you get weather now from the Weather Channel. Now available on Pathfinder at pathfinder.com.
This just in, WKTL Weather Watch reports a possibility of snow today.
Next time, check the Weather Channel for early warnings on weather conditions 24 hours a day. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
And there was a narrow swath of some fairly significant snows from central Iowa and extending on into west central Illinois. Specifically, we had as much as 7 inches of snow just north of Des Moines, Iowa, right around Iowa State University, 6 inches for Quincy, Illinois, and then Des Moines, Iowa and St. Louis itself had lesser amounts with about 3 inches and just a light coating for Springfield and for Waterloo. Well, for today, the snows have tapered out or off across the Midwest, but the snowfall there and heading over towards Hartford, we've had over 6.5 feet of snow this particular winter season. So even though it's not the worst winter, at least so far, but if things continue on this record-breaking pace, we could very well be breaking these records before the winter season is over. Here's what we have currently going on. We have our area of low pressure right now poised just off the South Carolina coast, but there's another big chunk of energy that's going to be pivoting right in behind this. And together, these two storm systems will start to merge and consolidate, and that will eventually become our main winter storm. And as it rides northward, it will be drawing in moisture from off the Atlantic, so hence there is that potential for very heavy amounts of snow. Numerous winter storm watches and warnings have gone up today throughout the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast in anticipation of the heavy dumping of snow. Farther towards the west, there's some interesting weather here. After a long dry spell, well, things are moistening up once again in the atmosphere, and we have some moisture kind of seeping in from off the Pacific. Scattered rains already on tap this morning around Redding and Red Bluff down towards the Sacramento Valley. In time, this ball of moisture will start to swing inland, and over the weekend, unfortunately, there could be another round of heavier rain setting up for Washington and Oregon, 2 spots that have
an area of snow and heavy snow coming down right now around Nashville, Tennessee, 1/4 S+, and that's heavy snow is going to head right down into Georgia, northern Georgia, and across into North Carolina as we help to develop this surface feature here over North Carolina this morning. So this upper level system, again, doing the damage. Doesn't look that impressive from the radar. I mean, you look at this and you say, all right, where's that darker green? Well, let's go to the Doppler and I'll show you. First stop, here's Atlanta, Georgia. FFC is Peachtree City. You can see an area of very light snow, maybe 7 to 10 mile visibilities, starting to move into northwest Georgia now. So don't be surprised to see a few flurries come into Atlanta in the next hour or two. We take you on north here. Here's Hopkinton, Kentucky. This pink area is heavy snow moving right down through Nashville, points south. Stay with us. We'll have an update on this storm next.
Presenting the ultimate